Tonight's topic is fifth quarter programming, extended school year, and various summer programs that are inclusive for our students. We have so much information to share that we are going to jump right in. We have had a technology hiccup this evening, unfortunately. We do not have all of the translation that we normally have. I'm really sorry to say. We are doing our very best. Joshi Perez, say hi to Joshi. She is working her butt off trying to get people in last minute. Uh, we're working really hard to at least have Spanish and a few other languages last minute. And we're going to do everything we possibly can to be able to share this information at a later date, but we will go on with the meeting today. And again, look out for information from us on sharing this information at a later date. If everyone, we have lots of representation from BPS. If you could say hello to the families and say what your role is in BPS, that would be great.
Joshi, would you like to start?
Sure. Sorry, I'm trying to get them the link so they could join.
Okay.
Hi, everyone. I'm Joshi. I am the Family Engagement Coordinator for the Office of Specialized Services. Happy to have you here today.
Thank you, Joshi. And I just want to give a shout out to Joshi for all of her support and hard work each and every time we meet. I'm Kay Seal, and also for Bethany and other SpEdPAC members that are also on the call. I am the Chief of Specialized Services for Boston Public Schools, and I'll also pass it on to Frank.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Frank Vicente. I'm the Deputy Chief of Instruction with the Office of Specialized Services. Nice to see everyone. And I will pass it on to Lauren Viviani.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. Thank you for having us. I am Lauren Viviani. I am the Deputy Chief of the Office of Specialized Services for Special Programs. So excited to talk to you all here tonight. I'm going to share the screen now with Alicia Scott.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me. My name is Alicia Scott. I am the Director of the Extended School Year for our wonderful Office of Specialized Services, and I will pass it to Will.
Hi, everyone. I'm Wil Caldwell. I am here with Boston After School and Beyond as the Managing Director for our Partnership Summer Learning, and I have the privilege of working with the Expanded Learning Time Opportunity Office at BPS and Chief Valley Sanchez to help support the fifth quarter summer learning. And Lauren, I don't know if you got a chance to do an introduction, but I'll pass to you if you have not.
Yeah, I think she did. I think I'll pass it on to Mark. I think Mark is also on the call. Thank you, Will.
Good evening, everyone. I am Mark Spolidoro. I am an adaptive physical education teacher in the Boston Public Schools and also the director at Camp Shriver. And I look forward to speaking with everybody in a few moments.
Thank you so much, everybody. I'm excited for everyone's presentation. I did forget to tell you, I am Bethany Moffi. I'm the interim chair of SpEdPAC, and this meeting is being recorded. So if there's any information that you missed, you will be able to return to it later. So let's jump right in. Our first presenter this evening is Alex DeFronzo from Piers Park Sailing. Alex will present for about 10-15 minutes, and then we'll have another 10 minutes to take questions.
Okay. Thank you, Bethany. Good evening, everyone. Alex DeFronzo, he, him, Piers Park Sailing Center in East Boston, Massachusetts. Can you see my presentation all right? Yes, okay. So Piers Park Sailing Center is located in East Boston. Our facility, boats, and programs are all accessible, and all of our youth programs are inclusion programs. Every student that joins in the program is able to learn how to sail and enjoy being out on the water. We have equipment for all of the boats for any students with physical disabilities, and our dock and gangways are accessible at all points in the tide cycle. We're located at 95 Marginal Street in Piers Park in East Boston. It's about a 5-minute walk from the Maverick stop on the Blue Line. Very easily accessible by public transportation and a nice smooth path all the way to the sailing center. We have 3 programs in the summertime. Our Harbor Explorers program is for students age 6 to 9 years old. Science of Sailing for students age 10 and up. And then we also have an employment program that includes students with disabilities. It's our teen training program for students age 14 to 16 years old, where they're paid to work in the program. All of our summer programs are from Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. This is the schedule for Science of Sailing and Harbor Explorers for this summer. I'll leave it on here for one moment if you want to take a screenshot of it, although there'll also be a registration link later in the presentation that has this information for you. The staffing ratio in the program is 1 to 4, but we also have staff available if a student needs 1-to-1 staffing. The cost for the program is based on your family income. If you start the registration process and get to the payment page and see that it's still asking to charge you, but it's not affordable to you, then we'll always provide you with need-based aid to make sure that you can join in the program. The enrollment started at the beginning of the month, and a few of the sessions are already full, but when you log into the enrollment system, you'll be able to see which ones still have space. And for all age groups, there are at least some sessions right now that still have some room open. And then just by being a BPS family and a resident in the city of Boston, you can use the coupon code when you get to the registration page, CREW, CREW, which will give you 25% off regardless of whatever your family income is. If you run into any issues with enrollment, this is our contact information. I will also put it in the chat at the end of this presentation so that it's available to you all. A little bit about each of the programs. So Harbor Explorers, again, it's full day, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday. Students will do a lot of different activities in the program throughout the day. They go kayaking, they fish off of the dock. We also have staff from Save the Harbor, Save the Bay that are present that teach them about the different animals that live in the harbor that they catch and pull up. We have lots of crabs and some small fish that are close by to us. And then they'll also go out sailing and start to learn some of the basic skills in sailing. The adaptive equipment that we have, if you have a student with physical disabilities, is going to keep them secure in the boat so that they feel nice and stable. And they'll also be able to take the tiller and steer the boat or control the sheets to let the sails in and out, the same as any gears on the boat. Science of Sailing, it's the same time, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., but they're going to be out sailing for 3 hours in the morning. They come back for lunch, and then they go out sailing again for 3 hours in the afternoon. There's lessons. This is also a program where the ratio is really small, and they're in small groups learning together. This program, they do go out to the Harbor Islands, and they'll go onto the islands and get to explore a little bit, and then come back to Piers Park in the afternoon. And then our teen training program for students age 14 to 16 years old. They're here learning the skills that they need to become instructional staff and then start working as instructional staff in the program. This QR code you can scan with your phone if you have it available, or you can go to piersparksailing.org/youth for the registration. And I'll now put the Sailing Center's phone number into the chat, which you can text if you're having any issues through the registration process at all. If you're trying to sign up for the program, that's the easiest way to get in touch with us. You can also call it and we'll get right back in touch with you as soon as possible.
Thank you so much, Alex. What an exciting program. I have one question to kick us off. Participants need to know how to swim, obviously, or no? Is that not a deal breaker?
No, for students with disabilities, they do not need to know how to swim. We note that beforehand. The instructors that they're working with are aware of it. Depending on if they have physical disabilities that will prevent them from floating in the water, they might have to wear a life jacket that will turn them right side up if they fall in. But it's okay if they don't know how to swim.
That's amazing. Okay, let's see. We have, so someone says, I have a question. What is your question? I see iPhone in the chat.
Can you hear me or no? I can write it.
You know, go right ahead.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if you had us muted. I just wanted to say thanks for that presentation. That was great. And we're actually neighbors because I'm right here in East Boston. I just had a quick question, and I'm not quite sure, but what's the youngest age a kid can go on a sailboat at your place to go sailing? But of course not go on the program because I know that starts at 6. Because my son's 4. And I was just curious, like, oh, you should take him sailing, but I'm just hesitant. I'm like, oh, I don't know. I mean, he's too young. But I didn't know from your perspective, do young kids go in there with life jackets and everything with their parents?
You can go 4 years old is the start. So you might know we have a lot of like free community access days where we just do public sailing and you can come down and go out on the boats, like our opening day, Eastie Week, Eastie Pride Day, and a bunch of other days throughout the year.
Oh, that's so
And
fun.
you can go starting at age 4.
Okay. Oh, that's fantastic. Well, thank you so much.
Of course.
I will definitely do it then.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you very much. We also have a hand raised, Carol. You can go ahead and unmute yourself.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. So I just got this text message around 5:45. So my question, is this meeting just about summer school? Is it summer school / summer job? Or for kids who's trying to go to camp? Is it like all of those things?
It is summer programming through BPS, so extended school year, and 5th quarter programming, and a couple of camp options. We have Camp Shriver here and Piers Park sailing program. And we will also be able to drop an application for Camp Joy. But the focus of the meeting is, you're correct, summer programming, camp and academics and extended learning.
Okay, great. One more question. So do you all have like some type of assisting to someone that might have difficulties with like pulling this information off out of the chat and applying for these things, like myself? Like I would need for someone to help me sign up for some of this stuff.
Do you want to put your name and the best way to reach you in the chat, and somebody from SpEdPAC will reach out to you, either myself or one of our board members will reach out to you, and we'll definitely support you the best way for you to apply for these programs.
Okay, so I will put my number in. I heard the gentleman say that I think it's for the camp. I don't know if it was for across the board, but there are people has already put in applications and stuff already.
Yes.
I'm just trying to figure out, where does that leave the people on this meeting like myself that's just getting the information, because I'm always being told we full, or we got a waiting list, or different things pertaining to that.
So right now there is still, I also see a question in the chat, when is the limit to apply for summer? It's just until it's full. Right now the programs are about 75% full. They probably will be completely full by mid-April. So you have, I would say, about 2 weeks before the spaces are all closed up. We also do in-person enrollment days at Piers Park. So if you're able to come to East Boston and sign up, we can do the enrollment with you right here at the sailing program.
Okay, I would be willing to do that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's see, we have some questions in the chat. Lexi, do you have, let me see. Lexi is helping out with the questions in the chat, and we're both going to do it.
Yeah, so one of the big questions that I'm seeing is their transportation. Like, do the programs provide transportation to attend?
Unfortunately, our program does not provide transportation. Students have to get themselves to and from. We are located very close to the Maverick stop on the Blue Line.
Okay, thank you.
I also forgot to mention during the presentation, we have bilingual staff for students this native language is Spanish or Portuguese in both Harbor Explorers and Sciences Sailing programs.
Thank you. Do we have, let's see, we have another question. There is a question, can someone explain ESY? We will get to ESY for sure. We have a bunch of really great, knowledgeable people from BPS to talk about ESY. Does anyone have any more questions about Piers Park sailing? Questions for Alex or
I see
oh,
that,
that's okay.
I see that Carol has raised their hand. Carol, would you like to ask your question?
Carol, yes, she already did her question.
I saw your number in the chat, Carol. I'll give you a call tomorrow.
Can I please ask a question?
Yes.
Yeah, I want to ask, thank you so much for your time. That was so impressive. Like, I love everything that's happening right now. So I want to ask, when they say like the special needs kid can come, like I want to ask because my daughter has a 101. I want to know if he can have the opportunity to come as well, or I don't know if you have that kind of accommodation.
We do. The only things that we're not able to accommodate in the program is if a student bolts, if they run away. We do a lot of programming in the park. The staff are not trained to do any sort of physical restraint or stop them. If a student has physical aggression towards themselves or other people, or if they need assistance with toileting, the staff are not trained to handle those things, but anything else we are able to accommodate.
Thank you.
So that answers a question in the chat about accommodating to ASD and ADHD students. You are
Yeah.
able to accommodate everybody except for the situations you just mentioned.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Lexi, are there any more questions in the chat to share?
I am doing a final look, but I believe Alex has been really on top of it in the chat
Yeah.
as well. So, I think we're good.
Oh, I see one. It says, are they keel boats or centerboard? That is somebody that knows what they're talking about, and I do not.
They're keelboats, they cannot flip over, so you don't have to worry about falling into the harbor.
Okay, thank you for that. And I see Shirley, you have your hand raised. You can go ahead and unmute yourself.
Yeah, I was asking if you guys have American Sign Language, or is the possibility for someone to go on that that does sign for students
For this meeting, or I'm sorry.
or sailing?
I'm not sure, Shirley. I don't think so, but I will find out and get back to you.
I have a question.
Go right ahead.
I was wondering, since I don't know when the rollout was, but since you guys said that most of the slots are already filled, so this is not a definite that a child might be accepted for the enrollment. Is that not possible?
I can tell you right now, the spots that are completely full are in the Science of Sailing program, so that's students that are 10 and up in the third and fourth session, which is July 28th through August 22. So there's still room in the sessions that run June 30th through July 25th. And then in the Harbor Explorers program for the younger students, there's still at least a few spots available in every session.
And should we just go to the link that's shared in the chat? My son falls in the age of 12-year-old.
Okay.
So I just wanted to know if there, I see that, you just mentioned, so there might be some slots available for that time frame that you offered. Should I just go to the link that is shared to apply and then use the code? What was the code again that you offered for the discount?
Through CREW.
Okay, thank you.
And the link that I just sent, the link that I just sent is for anyone that's not ever participated in the program before to enroll. If you've already done it before, then there's you have the access to the parent dashboard.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So I think that, yeah, we did 10 minutes of questions. If you have more questions for Alex about the Piers Park sailing program, please put them in the chat. We will be saving the chat, and we will distribute any questions. If you didn't get your question answered, please also put your name and your email address to make sure that your questions can get answered. Thank you so much, Alex. We really appreciate it. I personally didn't know anything about this program, and it sounds really wonderful. So thank you very much for sharing with us.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Our next presenter is going to be Mark Spolidoro from Camp Shriver.
Thank you very much. Let me see if I can get this to cooperate. There we go. Hopefully everybody can see that. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for taking a few minutes. I am Mark Spolidoro. I am the director at Camp Shriver. Camp Shriver was founded in 2006 and originally started at the UMass Boston campus. I would say this would be our fourth summer, we had moved out to the UMass Amherst Mount Ida campus, which is in Newton, which is right over the West Roxbury line. Believe it or not, it is closer to get to and easier to get to than the UMass Boston campus. We've been there for 4 years, and that's kind of our home now for our program. I'll tell you a little bit about our program itself. We're about 165 to 170 campers that will attend this summer, ages 8 to 12. We take children with and without disabilities. We are talking about children with intellectual disabilities. We have a couple of campers with some physical disabilities. We have a couple of campers with vision difficulties, some hearing challenges and things like that. We are very inclusive. Half of our campers have a disability and half do not. We are very intentional with creating inclusion, using our recreational activities, making sure that the kids are included in every activity. And the goal is to ensure that kids are making friends, right? We're really trying to focus on the social inclusion of fun, of summertime fun. All of our campers participate in swimming. They're in the gym. They're doing arts and crafts activities. We have built out a games room. We have tennis courts that we use for multiple different uses. We have archery for 2 weeks during our sessions. We have field day. We have a talent show. So it's really a nice, fun summer camp experience for all of the kids. Some of the kids, every summer we get a chance to talk to the kids. We ask questions of the kids, and these are some of the things that they like to say about camp. We learn the most about camp from the campers that come to camp and the families like yourselves. We are a very team-oriented program. Campers will be on a team of about 24 campers themselves, and within that group of 24 campers, half will have a disability, half won't, and there'll be 5 counselors in that group that would be working with the kids all summer. Campers like to have fun. Our camp is 4 weeks. It is July 7th through August 1st. And like I said, we're on the campus of the UMass Amherst Mount Ida campus in Newton. We do provide transportation. We have about 9 to 11 bus stops throughout the city of Boston, and we use the schools in the neighborhoods where most of our kids come from as kind of the landmarks for pickup drop off. We don't provide door-to-door transportation, as that can be very challenging at times. But everything that we provide the kids, we provide them with breakfast, we provide them with lunch, snack, water bottles. They're going to get T-shirts, bags. They get all kinds of fun stuff that we do during camp that they get to take home with them. And I think that the best thing about camp is this is a free camp for everyone. The only thing we ask for, if you can afford a $25 registration fee, we would collect that. If you don't, that's okay too. We will make that work without a problem. A lot of what you will see at camp is based on supporting the kids socially and supporting the kids in their physical activity and their physical growth. Every activity that they go to there's either a phys ed teacher or a coach, someone who has a lot of experience working with kids with and without disabilities, providing activities that are fully inclusive so that everybody has the most opportunity to learn, participate, and get the most out of camp. Our days is 8:30 to 2:15. Pickups usually start around 7:30, quarter to 8, so that they're on campus for 8:30, so everybody can eat together. And all the buses roll off campus about 2:15, with returns no later than 3:15 at the latest. We have a lot of counselors that work with us are high school students, college students, students in the education program, physical fitness students. Lot of just energetic type people that are there for the right reasons, and that is to provide a summer experience for your child. This is one of the favorite quotes of one of our campers from last summer. Making new friends is super important, and we have goals that we work on every week, and one of them is making friends, and we talk about how to make friends, how to keep friends, how to talk with your friends, how to play together. Kids have a lot of opportunities to play with each other from within their team and from outside of their team. There are many opportunities where they're going to get an opportunity to have choice in what they play in. It could be soccer, it could be volleyball. This summer, I'm trying to get the Boston Bikes program to come over to campus this summer and work with the kids and teach those that don't know how to ride bikes to ride a bike, and those that do know how to ride a bike to talk more about bike safety and really have that part of a summer program and summer enrichment. So we always try to do a lot. Like I said, our campus is externally funded. We do a lot of fundraising throughout the school year to make sure we have the means to support all the kids that we come to camp. As you can see, a lot of our friends like to talk about their friendships and whatnot. I think one of the biggest things that we provide at camp is the ratios, right? We talk about low ratios. At any time, it's probably 4-to-1. Sometimes it might be 3-to-1, depending on the number of kids that are in camp that day. We encourage and really ask that families commit to the 4 weeks. It's important that the teams build a cohesion within each other. The staff gets a chance to know the campers get a chance to know the staff, and everybody wins in that situation. Kids develop friendships that kind of carry through to school. Our application is currently out, and it's due to close on the 31st of March, but we're going to leave it open for another couple of weeks, so it won't close until probably the Friday right before April break. So that'll give you a couple of 3 weeks to get that completed and submitted. We do have a lot of applications in. I will put all this information in the chat when you get a few minutes. As soon as we're done, I'm not great at technology and moving things around and keeping up with all that stuff all at the same time. But I'll make sure that this gets in the chat along with the link, my information. So if you have any questions, you can certainly reach out directly to me. Again, that's my information right there, and I'll make sure that all that gets in the chat. And that, my friends, is Camp Shriver.
Thank you so much. That sounds really great. One question was, And you may have said it and I didn't hear it, but what age does this camp go
Yep, ages
to?
8 to 12. Yep. So campers
8 to
turning
12,
8,
okay.
yep, turning 8 before the first day of camp, which is July 7th, or 12 before the first day of. You can turn 13 during the summer month, but as long as you're not 13 at the first day of camp, you're welcome to apply.
So hard stop at 12, even if developmentally a child, is 13, but maybe
Yes.
not. But it's hard stop at 12. Okay, thank you very much.
Yep.
We have a couple of hands raised. Carol, if you don't mind, I'm gonna ask Kanisha to unmute because she's a first-time question asker, and then we'll go to you. Is that okay? It is okay. All right. Kanisha, you can go ahead and unmute.
So you said they start exactly at 8. Is that like a definite, like there's no pull or push for someone that's like 7 years old?
Correct.
Correct.
Yeah, they have to have turned 8 years old before the first day of camp. Yes.
Okay, and then the second question would have been, you said that there's transportation. Does that transportation come to the house, or is there like a designated area
Yeah,
where the bus picks up?
it's a designated area. We don't do door-to-door transportation. The what we do is once all the kids are accepted to camp, I'll spend a lot of time looking at where bulks of kids are and adjust the bus stops accordingly. But we use the Boston Public Schools buildings as the designated pickup drop-off spots. It's pretty accessible. It's highly visible. People kind of know where it is.
Okay.
There's a good spot for a bus to pull in, pick up kids safely, and drive off. So that's why we use that type of an area type of pickup.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much. Do you have a next question from the chat, Lexi?
Yes, I do. So we've gotten a question. Can you pick specific weeks to attend, or do the children need to attend the full summer session?
They need to attend the full summer session, and our reasoning for that is right now, as of today, we have 275 applications in-house. As I told you, we're looking at about 160 to 170 campers is our max capacity. So it ends up being a lottery system once all the applications are in-house and we've done all our due diligence and all the paperwork is complete, then it becomes a lottery system. So it's important that if get into the camp through the lottery, that you attend for the 4 weeks. It wouldn't be fair to someone else that could attend that didn't make it because of the lottery. So that's kind of our justification for you need to be in attendance for the 4 weeks.
Okay, thank you. We have
Thank
one
you.
more
And
question from the
Carol?
chat.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Just
Go
one
ahead.
more.
Thank you.
Does Camp Shriver specialize in reaching autistic kids?
Reaching out to what? I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said.
Autistic kids?
Oh yeah, yep. I think probably 25% of our campers with disabilities are on the autistic spectrum. So we are very very good at handling those type of students.
Thank you. And we have on screen Carol's hands raised. Go ahead and hold on, unmute yourself. Thank you.
Okay, good. Thank you. My first question, I've been trying to remember my questions. I forget them. My first question is, this is every year, right? The camps we're talking about is every year. So how do you, or where do you get the information to sign up for these camps? Because like y'all said, like 75% is already, like where do you go to get the information when it's first coming out for you to start doing the applications?
So a lot of it is out on social media, but I make it a point to make sure that every elementary school, a K-8 school in the BPS district gets a flyer sent to their special education office. So they should have it at the school. It's also on our website, which is updated regularly. So it's available, but what I'll do is I'm going to put it in the chat here in a few minutes so that it'll be there so you can just kind of click on it. It'll take you right to it.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
And the other thing is,
Thank you.
I don't know, I heard you all mention the ages between 14 and 16. Was that only for like a summer job? Are there camps for that age bracket?
That was Piers Park, and I'm not sure if it's just for like a counselor type of like a training program, work training program. I don't know if they have. I think he said they had camp programs at that age, but he'd be better off to answer. But I know he had to leave, so we could probably check his website.
Okay. And one more question.
Yep.
So what really caught my attention was the summer school part, the information for the kids that will be attending summer school. Did we get that far yet?
Not yet.
No, that's coming soon.
Okay.
And I just want to say I am sorry that we are doing this in March. It sounds like we really need to do this summer programming in January or February. So we apologize on SpEdPAC end, and we will make the adjustment for next year to have this summer programming meeting earlier so that everybody has the opportunity to apply for all of these wonderful programs.
Right
Thank you
after
for
February break is
bringing that up.
right after February break is a good time.
Okay, good. All right. We will make note of that. Thank you for pointing it out, Carol. I appreciate it. And Lexi, we have two more questions.
Sure.
Lexi, do you have a question from the chat?
No, the questions from the chat have been answered.
Okay, so then we do have, we'll just take the rest of the questions from the screen for now, and then anybody who doesn't get to have their question answered, please again put your name, your question, and your best way to contact you in the chat, and we will get you answered. This is another Carol. I see your hands raised. Go ahead and unmute yourself.
No, I'm listening to it.
Carol, you have your hand raised. Is this a different Carol or the same Carol? I think it might be the same. I don't know. Okay, Diane, go ahead and unmute yourself.
How you doing? I'm on the parent pack at the Manny school, and I was just wondering if y'all can send me an email with this information so I can bring it up at the next parent council meeting for the Manny.
Yeah, if you would reach out to us at bostonspedpac411@gmail, we will send you all of the slides and the information that they're putting in the chat.
I tried that once. They only sent me YouTube, and that was it because I've been like going to the meetings and writing everything down, and then when it comes to the regular parent council meetings, I have nothing to show them. I'm only talking. So
Yeah. Well, yes, send an email. I could put I'll put it in the chat.
thank you, because we have a meeting coming up. So.
And Bethany, given today's issues with interpretation, we are happy to gather all the slide decks if you don't mind sharing them with me. Getting those
Absolutely.
translated, and then we can share those out. I think.
Oh
would be
yeah,
good for everyone.
absolutely.
Yeah.
That's a great idea. We will get you all of that information. All right, so there's our email in the chat. So email us, remind us that you are the SpEdPAC rep for the school that you are, and we will send you all the information.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yep.
And Diane Flucker, you have your hand raised. Go ahead and unmute yourself.
Fluker. Thank
Fluker,
you.
sorry.
Good evening, everyone. I'm just interested in the phone number to this program.
For Camp Shriver?
I'll put it in the chat. I'm going to do that in a minute.
Yes.
I'm going to put
Yes.
the website and the phone number and all that information in the chat here in a few minutes.
Okay. Thank you.
Gathered all so it's in one kind of chat that I send out.
Oh, are you gonna be speaking about the extended school year for the kids that go to extended school year? Are you gonna be speaking about that?
Yes, that's going to come very shortly from now.
Okay,
Um,
thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mark. Really appreciate your presentation, and we'll ask you back earlier next year. And whatever contact information you share, we'll make sure to share out to the community. I just want to do a quick, we weren't able, our representative from Camp Joy wasn't able to make it, so I just want to explain what Camp Joy is, and then I'm going to put the application in the chat. Camp Joy provides high quality programs for children and young adults with special needs. It's run by the City of Boston. Camp Joy's success is due to qualified and dedicated staff. Their structured and enriching programs include they promote peer-to-peer socialization, foster individual growth and development, connect participants and their families to new opportunities and valuable community resources. The summer program is a 4-week-long summer camp program. This program is available to Boston residents with disabilities ages 3 to 15 and their siblings ages 3 to 7. Slots are first come, first serve, and only completed applications are accepted. Camp Joy provides an inclusive and supportive environment. It includes structured daily opportunities for participants to make new friends, have fun, learn, and grow during the summer months. The summer offers a variety of enrichment activities due to promote peer-to-peer socialization, foster relationship building, and support individual growth. Participants receive nutritious breakfast and lunch, and Camp Joy also offers door-to-door transportation, eliminating barriers to services. Each Camp Joy site has a licensed nurse. All program staff are professionally trained and certified in CPR. Program requirements are children have to be between the ages of 3 and 15 with disabilities, be able to interact in a 4-to-1 participant to staff ratio, be a Boston resident, and proof of residency is going to be required, and a completed application. And again, we weren't able to secure a representative from Camp Joy, but I will put the flyer and the application in the chat. And I think I'll be able to put the email for the person that can answer more questions. Kanisha, I see you have your hand raised. Go ahead and unmute.
Yeah, Mike, well, you answered most of my questions, but you said it's only for Boston residents only, because I
Yes.
live, it's weird because when I moved, I had the same problem with the post office like saying like, oh, I'm not really in Boston, but I'm in Boston. So I had to fight that because technically I'm in Boston, but I'm in Chestnut Hill.
Mhm.
So I'm on like a very fine line. So I don't know if that would say that I'm not part of Boston. And then I just needed to know like what time the camp was from until like what time it starts until it ends.
Let me see if I can find that. I'm actually looking at the their website.
Because this was like definitely one of the camps that I was looking for my son, because he is autistic. And then I already knew about the door to door, which was great for me because I don't drive. I don't have a car. I have a license, but no car. So I'm just trying to figure out like the time, and then, like I said,
So I did find it. It's Monday through Friday from July 14th to August 8th, and the camp is 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. And the locations will be to be determined. And let me I'm going to try to get a link to this also. Well, actually, there's a link to the flyer in the chat. Can you see that?
yeah, I'm gonna. I forgot what my other question was, but
Oh,
yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. I was just trying to figure out because I'm on that fine line, so I didn't know if, he would be eligible or not for it. And then, like I said, the door to door, I love because that's what I really need for him.
I think you could get in. I think you'll have to get in touch with the program about the actual address.
Okay.
Because again, we weren't able to, a representative from Camp Joy wasn't able to join us this evening. But it is an important camp for our kids, so I wanted to be able to shout that out. So I think you do have to reach out directly to the camp about the address. And Camp Joy, there's a question in the chat that says, "Where is Camp Joy?" The location is to be announced. All right, thank you very much for your question. And we'll go with Jay Black, and then we will have to move on to our next presenter. But again, if your question did not get answered, please put your question in the chat with your name and your email address or preferred method of being contacted, and we will get your question answered.
Hi, so I'm not sure if this was already discussed, but will we receive like a recap of the entire presentation after this call via email?
I'm putting all of the slide decks in the chat, and if you want, I'm sorry, this Jashi is going to send out all this information translated as well, because we weren't able to secure interpreters for the evening where we had a technology glitch. And if you, this video, this meeting is recorded and it will be on the YouTube channel with all of the information as well. If you want it specifically sent to you, send us an email at bostonspedpac411@gmail, and we will send it to you directly. Does that work?
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, well, thank you so much, Mark, and thank you everybody for your questions for Mark. I'm sorry, not for Mark, but about Camp Joy. We're going to move on now to fifth quarter programming, and we have Wil Caldwell to talk to us about that.
Hi, everyone. Can you see my screen? All set here. Okay, great. Hi, everyone. I'm Wil Caldwell, Managing Director of Partnerships and Summer Learning at Boston After School and Beyond. So I'm here to kind of go over the content of programming that our organization, as well as Boston Public Schools, oversees. So I'm joined here with the Chief Family Advancement Officer, Magali Sanchez, and the Deputy Director of Expanded Learning Opportunities, Heather McCormick. So all three of us will be here to answer questions and share a bit more with you all about the Boston Public School District's new vision for summer school, next level, and what the fifth quarter of summer learning is. So I'm going to provide some context there, and then we'll take some questions afterwards. Great. So the fifth quarter of summer learning, this has actually been an initiative that the district's been a part of and overseeing and working on since around 2010. And this year, our tagline for summer is Next Level Summer Programming. And so as an overview, the fifth quarter is a large subset of programming that supports Boston Public School youth from grades K0 up through 12th grade. And then we have many different entry points of programming that young people and their families can register to participate in during the summer months. And so this year we have 19 high school credit recovery programs, which will serve approximately 1,830 students. We have 6 middle school course recovery programs that are going to serve approximately 132 students. We have 57 community-based learning academies throughout the city, and they project to serve slightly under 4,000 students. And I'll share a bit more context on kind of what that community-based program means. And then we also have 34 school-based, school-run summer learning programs that aim to serve a bit over 3,600 students. And so in total, the fifth quarter, our next level of summer, has seats to serve approximately 9,486 Boston Public School students this year. These are all programs that are free. They have their own very unique structures, which we'll kind of go into more depth on the slides in. But these are all programs that are open to every child in the Boston Public School District. and they're free of charge for every family that registers and is enrolled in one of the organizational programs. So just want to provide an overview. There's been a lot of questions about scheduling hours, kind of what's the day look like. So I wanted to provide a little context for you all about that. So the fifth quarter runs over the course of 5 weeks. So this year, young people will receive 24 days of programming throughout the summer as a participant in the initiative. The programs are on average for the summer learning academies, which are academics and enrichment. They'll run for 6 hours a day. The different programs have different start and end times, which will provide you with access to kind of take a look at some of those schedules. But on average, the programs run 6 hours a day, and they're broken up into kind of 2 sections. The first half, your young person is going to participate in academics, ELA, and math with a licensed BPS teacher with their peers and some program staff. During the first part of the day, some programs, if they are sports outdoors, they may do that at the end of the day, but typically most programs are going to do ELA and math for 3 hours in the beginning of the day to help young people kind of prepare for the fall, maybe kind of have some remedial learning from the school year, or to really kind of get boosted up to go into the next fall at an accelerated and further ahead pace than they were at the end of the school year. The last half of the day, the final 3 hours, are going to be enrichment programming. And so we identify that as kind of the hook, right? So for Boston Public Schools, the new vision of summer learning isn't the traditional everyone come to a BPS school, sit, do ELA and math for 3 or 4 hours, and then go home. But as a participant of the fifth quarter, young people get to have the benefit of both, of getting that academic support and then having enrichment coupled with it. So that way they have a full day of holistic programming where they, can have fun and learn new and different skills that are still related to their academic success, but give them opportunities to do things like Alex's sailing program or a basketball program, or for some, they have like traditional camp experiences, which also integrate that ELA and math experience as part of being a camper with the program. And again, these programs can be run at a BPS school or community-based. And so what we'll see in Boston is these programs exist all over the city. So our intent with our partners and our schools is that regardless of which neighborhoods you live in the city of Boston, we're really intentional about having programs that are accessible to you all. So that way transportation doesn't have to be a barrier to your young person getting an opportunity to participate in programs. And then some of the programs will be run by schools where the school staff will be the people implementing the entirety of the program, typically within their own BPS school building. So if you have a young person that goes to the Baldwin or the McKay or the O'Donnell, and that program is running a summer program, they could walk right to that school every morning. You could drop them off to that same school they attend during the school year every day, and then receive full summer programming experiences and then go home. And then they have that for the 24 days, 5 weeks throughout the summer. Some of our other partners, like a Boys and Girls Club or a YMCA, or a local community agency like All Dorchester Sports League or Sportsman Tennis, they'll also be a part of the portfolio where they'll run the programs themselves, but they will have hired BPS licensed teachers to be present to provide the academic support. And then their teams provide kind of during the academic support time, and then they take over and they facilitate all of the enrichment. So, it's really cool that young people can either go back to their kind of home school and receive this experience, or they can try something new and say, hey, we want to go to the YMCA down the street and be a part of that programming and get the same kind of experience and level of attention and care as they would if they went to their homeschool program. Now, the high school and middle school kind of course recovery is run a bit different. These programs are only 4 hours a day because they are primarily focused on that academic piece to help our young learners attain the course credit in order to graduate. And so those programs are focused on course recovery. They only run 20 days throughout the summer. The programs can run, 4 days a week for 5 weeks or 5 days a week for 4 weeks. They're much smaller, shorter bridged, but they're also much more intentional in that they're focused on that course recovery piece. And these programs are kind of invite only. So a school may identify young people that attend that they want to come back to that school in order to receive some additional support and attention to earn some credits or better prepare for the subsequent school year. But those schools will be identifying and selecting the students that are in that program. And so there's no registration process required for families. The schools essentially kind of register those students for their program. But for the summer learning academies, families will register their young people in the district's centralized system to register for summer learning academies. And we just wanted to kind of show you all a bit of an example of the schedule for what you could expect your young person to engage in on a typical day. So the one thing I want to say is that we have about 116 different summer learning programs between the credit and course recovery and the summer learning academies throughout the city of Boston. They all have very different focus areas in terms of student skill development. Some are focused on sports, some arts, some culture, some are language. Some are intentionally designed for students who are newcomers, who have recently immigrated and are maybe working on like language fluency and familiarity. Other programs may be intentionally focused on music and the arts for students that gravitate towards those interest areas. But what's really important to know is that we offer a smorgasbord of pretty much anything your young person is probably interested in. You can hopefully find a program that aligns to their interests and needs within the 5th quarter. But we do try to ask everyone to kind of keep a pretty similar structure in terms of what the day looks like. So just want to kind of provide you with a little bit of an overview of what a day in the 5th quarter would look like for a young person, regardless of the particular like enrichment or skill focused area. And so, all programs have their particular arrival time, typically between, 7 and 8:30 in the morning. Students will arrive, go through their arrival process with their program staff. They'll do some transition, and then most programs have an academic block for about 3 hours to start the day. And that's where the licensed BPS teachers will be present to teach ELA, math, STEM, very academic focused core competency skills, focused lessons for young people that build upon one another every day and each week. But we ask that they are also intentionally linked to the enrichment that's also going to be taking place after the academic piece is done. And so they'll be led in these activities with teachers in different blocks, typically through rotation with different teachers. In the morning, they'll transition to lunch. And so all these programs are able to opt into free meals for the young people throughout the summer. And then some receive some funding or have some of their own funding that they'll use to kind of supplement to make sure that there are snacks available, but all young people in all programs have access to meals for lunch. And then in the afternoon is typically when the programs have their enrichment block with young people. So as Alex mentioned about sailing, we have some sailing programs in the 5th quarter. After they do the academics, they'll go out on the water with their staff. The staff will then relink back the lessons of the day in ELA and math and relate it back to the enrichment activity to make sure that there's constant learning and that they're creating a foundation of why and not just how, or hey, we're doing this just to have fun, but really to help young people take away some learning from the actual enrichment experience itself. And then young people are dismissed at the end of the day. Most of the programs do not provide transportation. There may be a couple of camps that are taking students from Boston into kind of some of the more suburban areas that may provide transportation, but typically all programs will either have designated parent pickup areas, or if they do busing, just as Camp Shriver mentioned, some programs have designated drop-off areas. But you'll have to kind of read the individual like kind of program descriptions. Not many do provide transportation, but if transportation was a barrier to, say, having your child participate in a Hale camp out in Weston, Mass, then you'd want to look into it and get the details on how they actually do transportation, because they do provide it for young people in the city of Boston who want to be in that program, but maybe do not have family that can drop them off and pick them up each day. And so we have some links here, which you'll have access to, but I'll also ask my colleague Heather to link the information around the help desk and the email for registration support. So we have a student registration application process. We will have in-person sessions and virtual sessions and staff here to help families complete that application process. What's really great about the fifth quarter is that you only have to do one process to select these programs. So you don't have to apply to each individual program that you're interested in based on their own different application systems. We have a central system where you'll select 3 programs and you'll use just one central system to apply to 3 of them. So we have support, we have information around flyers, we have a website that we can provide access to and link within the chat, and you'll also have access to it when you have the slides. And then we ask, that you all help spread the word. Much as the parent mentioned earlier about how sometimes I don't hear about these things until I've heard that my child has been waitlisted, or we went to apply and now we found out that we're all full. We haven't opened up our registration process yet. That will start mid next week. But it will be open and families will continue to be able to apply. And as we noted here, we will have in-person assistance from April 1st through July 15th. The programs do begin for children on Tuesday, July 8th, but we also know that some families aren't able to start right away, or some families maybe don't hear about it until after the first week. So we typically are just constantly trying to help support families to make sure that every seat that we have available for the fifth quarter is filled. That's our goal. That's our partners' goals. That's what we want. And so we provide ample support to any and everyone that wants to apply, but maybe running into some challenges or is looking for a program and doesn't really know what's available or what's open. We'll have support and we'll be able to answer those questions for folks from here on out. And we typically do up through the summer as well. Constantly available, have helpline, have staff that want to support you all. Regardless of what entry point and when you become aware of the fifth quarter and these opportunities, we want to make sure that we do all we can to ensure that your young person does have an opportunity to be in a program. So yeah, we will be sharing flyers and information. There is a website for the fifth quarter next level summer by the district, which has a lot of information. It has the programs separated by content and theme, so that way you can kind of look through the list, and if there's something that your child is really passionate about, you can look for that theme, see which programs kind of fall within that boat. You can then read a bit about the program, who their contacts are, the grades that they serve, and then once you have all your information, you're ready to go. You can begin the registration process, and then if you need assistance with it, we have staff and trained support staff that can support. We also have family liaisons that are trained at the BPS schools, which we've also just trained on the systems that can help walk you through the application process and support you. But yeah, our team is here, we're present here, and we will continue to be present throughout the year to ensure that every young person, every family in the city of Boston that attends Boston Public Schools has access to a high quality summer learning opportunity. And again, it's free. So we want to make sure that every last one of the seats that we have available are filled this year. Great, so I will stop sharing screen, and I see we have questions and we have hands up. And so I'll take the time to have our team on to address any questions, take any questions, and then leave resources in the chat.
Thank you so much for that, Will. I really appreciate it. That was a great presentation. Our first hand raised is Carol. Go ahead and unmute yourself.
Yes, hi again. So if a child is assigned to summer school, they have to do the application for it, or does the school do it for them? That's
Great
my
question.
first
So
question.
if your child is assigned for, say, like recovery in like the middle or high school, and they've been identified by like a counselor, then the school is going to just sign them up for it. If the school, so what some schools may do, which you may, if this becomes a situation with your child, you may want to kind of talk with the school, because often we've had it where the school says, well, because the fifth quarter provides the academics and the enrichment, if your child attends a fifth quarter program, they might consider that as like, that's what we want for them in the summer. And so they may not necessarily need to do that traditional course recovery pathway. the school may be okay with them doing a fifth quarter program, since we do provide ELA and math as well. And so if that were the case, then you would use the registration system that we have to apply for a fifth quarter program. But if not, then the school is going to register your child for their program, and then they'll just assign them to come back on July 8th and begin doing course recovery work at that site. And there really won't be anything that you'll need to do in that instance.
Okay, thank you. And so all kids that has to go to summer school won't necessarily do the summer school at their school. Did I hear you say that? It could be another location?
Right, like not every high school applies to run their own credit recovery program, and so then the team will end up being mindful of where students are and which schools typically work with one another to accept the same students to then offer the courses necessary. So, it could be a situation where your child may go to another high school because that high school offers the course that they need to recover. But it could also be the case where the school that your child attends is going to run a program, and so they'll just have them return in the summer and complete coursework with them. If they don't do it, then they'll let you and the child know, hey, we need you to come back for summer school, but we're going to have you go to Boston Green Academy because that's who we've partnered with to have students go. But that's usually kind of based on whether or not the school has actually elected to run their own program, and then thinking about on their end, what does the student need, and then who is actually offering the course to ensure that they can actually recover it.
Okay, because I got a text message. My grandbaby goes to the Madison Park High School, and so I just got a text today saying that he needs to go to. He's been a recommendation for him to do summer school from July 7th up until August the 8th. But then they say I needed to register him for transportation because my grandson has autism too, and he gets door-to-door transportation. So they say he needed to be registered by June the 2nd. And so I thought this meeting, which I'm glad I came to, was connected to me registering him with transportation and stuff. And so the school ain't said nothing to me. I just got a text from the Boston Public School action required, a text message.
Carol, can you put your name again with this topic in the chat? And there are plenty of people here, BPS representatives, and someone is going to be able to answer that question for you. It might come next. We're going to do extended school year next, so you might get your answer there. But put it in the chat.
Again, I struggle with my reading and writing, like I asked in the beginning.
Okay.
So I'm not able to text to put all that stuff in the chat.
Okay.
I can't do it. That's why I just put my name and my phone number. I could do that again if you want me to.
Do that again, and we'll make sure that one of the BPS representatives contacts you to because this sounds like it could be extended school year. We're going to talk about that next, but let's move on to a couple more questions, and we can get to extended school year. That seems like that's going to be I think the main amount of questions there. But Will, there was a question in the chat that asked, how do we ensure that a child with autism is supported appropriately during fifth quarter programs? And I will extend that to say, how do we ensure that students with IEPs and different disabilities are supported during fifth quarter?
Sure, yeah. And I don't know if Chief Sanchez is still on and wants to chime in, because I will say that I know our team between with the fifth quarter expanded learning and the ESY teams have been working really closely to ensure that where we have the resources available. So I think one thing I know that we plan to do is that a number of our programs will also be co-located in the same building with extended school year programs. And so the goal would be to kind of work together to share resources for young people. I think what we want to make important, I see Heather, you've come on camera, so feel free to also chime in, is we want to make sure that we are very clear that for fifth quarter, this is open to any and every young person in Boston Public Schools, right? So IEP or not, ESY or not, you're still welcome. You're able to. This is an opportunity and an option for you. What we try to be more mindful of with our partners for extended school year is when we know about young people that have very specialized needs, and if there is a resource for that young person co-located within a program for fifth quarter and an ESY, then we're going to try to make sure that we share those resources. And then that we're mindful that maybe for a program like Hale Education, they're not going to be co-located with ESY, but we'd want to then work with the ESY team and our other partners who oversee summer work to ensure that if that young person ends up at Hale, that team has the resources and the support in order to best support and serve the young person. So we have this design to where that should not be a barrier. There aren't going to be particular programs where it says we can't serve this student because we don't have the resources. We internally will be working together to make sure that those resources are shared. Sorry, someone was coming off mute.
Hi, everyone. It's Lauren Viviani from the Office of Specialized Services. So thanks so much, Will, for all of those great answers. And when we get to the ESY portion of the evening, I think that some of these questions will be naturally answered. Some of the fifth quarter programming, like Will was saying, are co-located with ESY programs. So we're going to be able to provide some of the related services and other types of services. We want to definitely make sure that kids have an opportunity across fifth quarter programming. Some kids will need more specially designed instruction for the whole day, and it may be worth it to talk with your IEP team to make some decisions about what makes the most sense for kids to have ESY or fifth quarter programming. So those are all kinds of individualized questions that we want to make sure that is most appropriate for each student based on the IEP for sure.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much. So we're getting close to 8:30 and ESY is a big topic. So we're going to move on to our ESY presentation. And Janie, I saw your hand raised. If you could put your question in the chat with the best way to reach you, we will be getting everyone's questions answered. So thank you so much, Will, for all that information, and Lauren. And now we will move on to our ESY presentation. And this, if anyone is able to stay a little bit longer, like an extra 5 minutes, that would be great. And if you're not, we totally understand. Thank you, Alicia. Go right ahead.
Thank you, Bethany. Sorry. Find the appropriate screen to share. Just like everybody else has technical savvy challenges, I do as well.
You should let me know if you need help.
Yeah, it's not picking up the second screen. One sec. All right, can everybody see that? Sorry. Is that good?
It's coming out weird. Alicia, let me just share the screen for you.
Okay.
Yes.
Never mind. Stop sharing. Perfect.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Yash.
All right.
So hi, everyone. Thanks for having me. I am Alicia Scott. I'm the director of the extended school year for the Office of Specialized Services. So thank you for having me. I'll be mindful of everybody's time, but also give you as much information as we possibly can to help with a lot of the questions that you had. Next slide, Yash. So just some general information about the extended school year. So the program will run this year from July 7th to August 8th. As I believe it was Carol mentioned, you got a text message. We did launch officially last night. So we were very excited. We were able to get that out early. That was some feedback we got last year from families that it was really helpful to have an early launch. So we listened and we're keeping that going. Some really important deadlines for families to know about is our transportation deadline. So in an effort to make sure that students have their bus on day 1 of ESY, you want to make sure that you enroll by June 2nd, and you'll opt in saying, yes, my student is going to attend ESY, and yes, they're going to need a bus. You can still get transportation after if you enroll later. The June 2nd deadline is just to ensure that you are able to have the bus for your student on day 1 of the program. Additionally, we have this year, what we're asking for is for if your child has a one-to-one paraprofessional or a one-to-one nurse, we're asking that you can let us know with enrollment by May 1st. We're doing this to ensure that we have your students properly staffed and supported for the summer. For medications, we ask that you provide your medications to the nurses at our sites. We do have nurses every day of the program for the entire day. So they are there also should there be any questions. We have our open house that will be June 26th from 5 to 7. So this will give you an opportunity to come to the building, see where your students are going to be learning, meet their teachers, meet the site coordinator, meet the paras. This is also an opportunity that you can bring the medications with you because we will have nurses on site for open house. Next slide. So just to help everybody understand what ESY is the Extended School Year Program is a 5-week program, and it's designed for our students with disabilities whose individualized education program or their IEP team have determined that they are at a risk for substantial skill regression over the summer. Our curriculum is designed to reinforce and maintain all the critical skills that the students have acquired through tailored instruction that reviews essential concepts and standards. Additionally, we provide targeted support to help our students maintain and strengthen key skills outlined in their IEP, focusing on continued practice to ensure progress. Through this, we do it through individualized learning based on the goals within their IEP. We provide academic support in literacy, math, and other core subjects. We do social emotional development. We do that to promote communication and self-regulation for our students. We have related services such as counseling, speech, and occupational therapy. We do have pre-vocational and vocational training that help our older students develop some work-related skills. And we do have enrichment opportunities that allow students to engage through hands-on learning. And this year, we're excited. We will have enrichment for our students. One program we are going to have is ArcFest. And this will allow our students to enhance their creative well-being and literacy through hands-on arts activities, which will include visual arts, music, movement, and storytelling. We will also have Einstein's workshop. Einstein's workshop comes and the students get to participate in building and launching rockets. And then we will have minis with a mission, and that allows the students to have in-person pet therapy with mini horses and donkeys. Next slide. So for our enrollment, as I had mentioned before, we did launch yesterday. Families will continue to receive weekly reminders from the end of March through June to either enroll in or opt out of ESY. Additionally, we will be sending invitations to our open house and some tricks on things you can do to prepare your student for the first week of ESY. This year we were very excited to change our registration platform, but offer two. We are following Parent Square. I know a lot of families might be familiar with this already. It seems like a very responsive tool for our parents. And it has proven for us to work that way. We are happy to say that within 24 hours, we've had 800 families engage in RSVP in our ESY program. And just to give you a hint of like how impactful that is, last year we had about 45. So it was a very big shift and a great way for us to be able to outreach and connect with our families better. We also do have Freebo, so we will continue to use that. That is what most of our families are used to. It is still there. You can use that. You will just need your child's last name, their date of birth, and their ID number. Next slide. These are our sites that will be offered this summer. We are scattered across the city, as you can see. We will have the Condon. We'll be using the Edison, the Lee, the Mildred, Murphy, Orenberger, and Carter. We will have our Madison Park site, which shares space with our Strive program, which is our transition students. We will have Ruth Batson, the Henderson, Horace Mann, Mel King South End, and we will have the Umana over in East Boston. Next slide. So this here, we wanted to just share some links with everyone because we also know that a lot of our families have people that are working within Boston Public Schools or maybe working in other districts, but we are recruiting to staff our summer program. So there is a link for everyone to click on if they want to, if they have people that are looking for a position. We also linked our link to the student enrollment. We are always here to help if you have any questions. Our phone number is right on the screen, as well as any questions on anything or any support that you may need with registration. You can email us at esy@bostonpublicschools.org. And we did want to share that we are going to be participating in a fun family event. It's called Move and Groove. It will be on May 3rd. And what that is that's in partnership with the Department of Conservation and Recreation, as well as the Melianacass Rec Complex. And it's going to allow you to connect with other Boston youth and local programs and get some resources. So there will be people there actually registering people in other programs that they have. We will be there as well. There will be interactive activities for the kiddos. They can do sports, there'll be some arts, there'll be some STEM activities, and there'll be some youth-led performances and some media stations. So it will be a great time, something to do on Friday to get some resources and network. We will be there as well, and that will be from 12 to 4. Thank you so much.
So yeah, thank you, Alicia. There are a couple of questions in the chat that I just want to answer, and I got a couple privately. Just a couple of things. If your child has an IEP and ESY is not indicated on the IEP, you should definitely still register for the 5th quarter, 1000% register for the 5th quarter. And that will be a super great experience for your child in the 5th quarter, and or any of the other programs that we're on discussed tonight. The other thing is someone asked about the Strive program. The Strive program, we have pre-vocational programs for kids who are 14 and up and in high school doing some kind of vocational experiences at Madison Park. And there are also more work-related, very job, like they go actually to work experience programs, and those kids are currently in the Strive program, and our 18 to 22-year-old program. So if you have children or students who are that age, they will be participating in that. There's a question about when will the school assignments be sent. And so at registration for ESY just opened yesterday, thanks to Alicia and Yashi on the call. And so once we get all the registration, and then we can start to make assignments based on where kids live, because transportation is provided for the ESY program. And so we work really carefully and closely with Dan and his team from transportation to make sure that kids are assigned to schools that make the most sense, that are with their peer groups. So if your child is in some kind of very specialized program, like an ABA class or something like that, we need to make sure that there's other peers with that your child to have a classroom.
And just to jump in, Lauren, sorry about that, because you wouldn't be aware of this. So we actually, with Parent Square, the notifications that went out for registration actually had the site to which your student will be at, as well as the start times. So that was actually amazing. Normally we do not. Yet normally we don't. We have not been able to do that in our day one launch, but we were able to. So if you did receive notification from Parent Square and you go on there, you'll be able to see the site assignment that your child has, as well as the start times of the program.
And of course, if you need assistance, feel free to call us and we can either complete the form for you via Fravo or via Parent Square. We're happy to do that.
I just want to jump in also and thank Alicia, Joshi, and Lauren K. Seal. I'm Chief of Specialized Services. I just want to also ask parents if you have, and caretakers, if you have any specific questions, because this is really a decision that you're part of with your child's IEP team. So if you have any specific questions, I know some parents may be on this call that may not have a child with a disability and may say, how do I access ESY? Unlike the other programs, this program is really only for students that have educational plans. But if you have any questions regarding how to complete the registration form, please reach out to special ed or your school's coordinator of special education, because that will be the point of contact, the person who you meet with to discuss your child's IEP. And if you have any questions around services, that would be your point of contact for further information. We work in partnership also with Fifth Quarter. And as Will did share earlier, what we're working towards is making sure that for students that are coming in for related services, that we're housed in the same location so that we can continue to provide services, because we want parents to know that if they do register for Fifth Quarter, that doesn't mean they're still entitled to receive their special education services. So you don't have to feel that you need to opt in and opt out. I also want to remind families and caretakers to please complete the registration form. We're using technology in order to Parent Square in order to get this information to you. Some parents may not have access to that, so please reach out to us if in fact if you're in need of any additional information. Beth, we can't hear you.
Thank you, Kay. Thank you so much for all that information. I was saying, if BPS people would hang out for maybe 5 minutes, just so we can get maybe through a couple of the questions with the hands raised, if you're available. If not, if we don't get to your question again, please put your name, your question, and the best way to reach you in the chat. Davina, I see your hand is raised. You can go ahead and unmute yourself.
Okay. Hello, how are you?
Hello.
My question is, I just did my daughter's IP over last week and they put the ESY. However, it says substantially separated classroom. So is that I was told that's all of ESY, that's what it means, but does that really what it means, or will she be in a special education class?
Yeah, so for ESY, she will be in a class that's most like where she is during the school year. So sounds like she's in a special sub-separate type of classroom
No,
during.
so she's not. So that's
Oh,
why
she's not.
yeah, she's in a
Okay. Oh, I misunderstood. I
inclusion
beg your pardon.
school. Yeah, she's in an
Okay.
inclusion school, but the IEP says substantially separate classroom for the ESY part. And when I asked about it, they told me that's how ESY, that's what their classrooms are considered.
That's a great question, Davina.
Yeah.
You can just put your contact information in the chat.
Okay.
Definitely get back in touch with you to provide clarification.
Okay, perfect. Okay.
Yeah. Really great question. Thank you.
Thank you, Davina.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Michelle, I see your hand raised. You can go ahead and unmute yourself.
Oh, I was very just confused on a lot of different things you guys were talking about. I don't know what you're talking about like looking at the app and seeing about the information because my son he went to his camp last year, his ESY camp last year, and it was across the street. And I was assuming it was the same thing. So that's just very confusing to me. Like I was just assuming that it was the same school and this and that. So I'm just confused.
So we did show a slide that had the different locations. Some of our schools were offline last summer, so we can only use schools that we're told that's available and open. So I don't know where your child went to ESY last
Yeah,
summer.
he went to the Blackstone that was across the street.
Okay,
And it was very convenient.
Unfortunately, the Blackstone is not going to be one of our sites this summer. So what we will do is as you fill out the registration form, and if your child does have specialized transportation, that's why we made sure we said to parents and families to, try to get that information to us so that we can make sure that everything is all set for your child. So Blackstone will not be one of the sites this summer.
Oh,
We're
yeah, that's
sorry about that, because I know how helpful it is when you're close to the school for you to get your child there and also for pickups. But unfortunately, Blackstone will not be a site this summer.
Can someone from OSS reach out to Michelle and help her work through it?
Absolutely, Michelle, we'll take your name and get your contact information if you want to put it also in the chat. If not, we can look it up on our ed plan.
yeah, it just that it was very overwhelming for him to go on the bus, and then he liked that I got to walk him over there and stuff. Like his school is a whole different thing. It's the same thing. All the time, but then he just realized, his camp was across the street. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Absolutely. What school does he attend now?
The Quincy, oh no, the Josiah Quincy.
Josiah Quincy.
Yeah.
We'll definitely reach out to you, Michelle, and provide as much support so that we can make sure that you understand and that he will be all set for this summer. Okay?
Yeah, I
Michelle,
don't want him to be overwhelmed.
do you want to put your name and your email in the chat and they will pick it up and reach out to you?
I got it. I got
Okay,
it.
good. Perfect. All right. Thank you, everybody.
Yep.
Thank you for that, Michelle. They'll reach out to you and
Yeah, because also I don't know
they'll help you out.
how to register for the thing either, because it was a whole different thing last year. All they did was they sent me a paper in the mail. They told me where he was going, what had bus. Like I didn't register for anything. So yeah.
So they will definitely reach out to you and they'll walk you through all of the different steps. All right?
Okay.
They have your name and your contact information and they're going to reach out to you.
Yeah, plus I was able to
All
go
right?
with him and see the school and meet the teachers and everything, and then also make sure that everything was okay.
I
We
bet
will
you'll
have
be
the
able to do that this
we will
time.
have the
But
open house again this year. Sorry,
yeah.
Bethany. We
That's
will have the
okay.
open house again this year on
They'll
June 26th. So we will be able to do the same thing as we've done in previous years on the same Thursday of the month.
So Michelle, also the open house is scheduled for June 26th. So June 26th is when we'll let you know where your child will be before then. And also that will be the date for the open house for families who want to mark their calendars. Please mark your calendars for June 26th, open house for extended school year services.
Okay.
Thank you so much. And Michelle, we're going to move on to the next question, but they have all your information and they're going to take care of you, okay?
But when
Thank
would I
you.
know like what school would he go to?
They're going to reach out to you and they're going to take care of all of this for you, okay?
Okay.
And okay, they have your information. They're going to reach right out to you. All right? And we're
All
going to
right,
move on
thank you.
to thank you. Kanisha, I see your hand is raised. We're not going to get to everybody with their hand raised. I'm so sorry. Everybody's being really gracious and staying for a while. To answer a couple more questions, let's do Janie, because I saw your hand raised before. Go on and unmute yourself.
Yeah, thanks so much. My son doesn't currently have ESY listed on his IEP, but I have an IEP meeting scheduled. The earliest I could get an appointment was early June. Do you recommend that I go ahead and register him for fifth quarter? And if it needs to switch to ESY, it can after that meeting, or I'm still a little bit confused. I just don't really know which one's the best fit for him. Would they just help me out in my registration meeting?
Yeah, Janie, I'm happy to talk with you offline and take a look with you. Yeah, it's an ESY is definitely an IEP team decision. And if it's not right now on, I would recommend you register for fifth quarter. And
Okay.
then yeah, absolutely. And I think happy to talk to you though further about it. And you
Okay,
feel
great.
free to reach out to your school too. Absolutely.
Okay, wonderful.
And
Thanks.
also, we are working
Thank
very
you.
closely with our coordinators to identify any students that are added between now and June. So you will be receiving communication once you are eligible. They will notify us and we will include you in our list.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you, Janie. Jalen, I see your hand is raised. You can go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hi, my name is Jalen Conway, and I'm a parent of my son. He attends the Perry. He's in K0, so this is my first time having him in special education. And one of the things I was concerned about was when I signed up for Parent Squared, so I can register him. They said the registration wasn't available for him, and when I tried to go to the app for freevivo.com, nothing is happening, so I can do that. I did speak to his teacher and they let me know in the next IEP meeting we will be talking about extended school year, and she said that he should be eligible. And I did see on the BPS website one of the sites is the Condon, and I live across the street from there, and I don't see my son's school as an option as the site. So will I have the ability for my son to go to the Condon because it's close to the house? That was my question. I was concerned about that.
So if I understand correctly, right now your child doesn't qualify for ESY or does qualify? I'm sorry,
So the teacher said we have an IEP meeting May 29th.
Okay.
She said we'll speak about that. She said that he should be eligible for ESY. That's what she said. And they said that we will go and put him in the extended school year so he can continue to have those services. And I was wondering, because the Condon school is a site and my son's school is not listed as a site, will I've had the opportunity to choose that site for the summer?
So I can take that. So what we are doing and what transportation is doing is we are assigning sites closest to students' homes. So with that logic, if you are that close to the Condon would probably be the offered site for you for the summer. If for some reason that is not the case, once you determine if ESY is necessary, then you can email us at the ESY inbox. We do look at transfers, so you can request a transfer. We do look at those, and especially if you're that close to the school and that's not what was assigned, we want our students to be as close to home as possible. It eliminates the length of time they have to be on the bus, and it just makes it better for everyone else. So once that IEP meeting happens and whatever is decided is decided, if ESY is the case, most likely you would be assigned to the convent because it's closer to your home. But again, if that for some reason that is not the case, then please email us, and you can request that he be transferred.
Okay, thank you so much for answering my question, because that was my biggest concern, because I literally live across the street from it, and I wouldn't want my son to, be in another town, and we live across the street from the convent, and he can just go right there, and he doesn't even need a bus then, you know?
I
Thank
do. You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very much. All right, we're now at 8:44. There's one question from the chat. It says, for programs listed with locations as TBD, are we to assume the program will be run out of one of the published open sites, or will BPS make more sites available for the summer programs? So I guess that's referring to ESY.
I think that's a fifth quarter question. We have all of our sites.
Oh, that is fifth quarter? Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
So if that's fifth quarter,
yeah. And yeah, so we are still working on site locations because we are also needing to be mindful of which schools are open and which schools already have ESY placements. So by the time that you see the application for registration, it will have all the sites there. It doesn't open until the 1st. So we're still working on that. And then once we have those finalized with facilities, you'll see that updated on the website, and you'll see it in the application when you go to register. You'll see all the site locations, and the way it works is it will try to give a preference for what your address is, and then offer programs that are closest to your address and serve students within the grade that your child's in, or the grade that the child is going to be going into the next year. But yeah, it'll be updated, and it'll be available on the registration application once it's launched.
thank you so much, Will. Okay, so we're at 8:46 now. I thank you so much, everybody who stayed. We're not going to get to the last two questions. I'm really, really sorry, but we will stay on long enough for you to put your question in the chat with your name and the best way to get in touch with you. And again, we're saving the chat, and we're going to dole out all the questions to the people that can best answer them. We really appreciate everybody who came and presented and spoke, and very appreciative of BPS's knowledge and presence at the meeting. Our next general meeting will be on April 17th. It's normally the third Thursday, but that falls right during April vacation. So the next general meeting will be April 17th, and the topic is autism supports and services. Once again, thank you so much for everybody who came out tonight, and we will hang out for just a minute while you put your name and your question and the best way to reach you in the chat. And we'll be closing it down in about 2 minutes. Thank you so much, everybody who hung out extra time. I really appreciate you.
I just want to thank our families as well.
Yeah, and to everyone that needs support in registering for ESY, feel free to call us. We have the site assignments available, and we're happy to support. So if it feels tricky to you, feel free to call us, and we'll be there. And our helpline is also able to support as well.
Can we go to the parent center for that? Can we just walk in and do that at a parent center or a school zone?
The schools haven't been trained on ESY, but like I said, Carol, I will contact you on Monday.
Okay.
And if that's
Okay.
sufficient, great. If not, we can schedule a time to see each other in the building at bowling. If you would like to do it in person, I'm happy to meet with you as well.
I would. Thank you. Thank
No
you all
problem.
for your services. Have a good night, everyone.
You too.
Thank you. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Everyone.
I'm going to leave the
Good
chat open
night.
for just
Thank
another
you.
minute. Thank
Good
you.
night, everyone.
Good night,
Thank you.
everybody. Thank you. Thanks for spending this time with us.
Good night. Good night.
Good night. Thank you so much. I know it's right during dinner time and bedtime, so thank you, everybody, for coming out. And I'm going to leave it open for one more minute to get questions and names in the chat, and people will get back to you as soon as possible.